under pressure. Now another line we could look at there, if we were to go back to this position, instead of taking on G2 with the pawn, you could play rook takes on G2. Actually, I have to do this manually here. Let me just get to that position here. So bishop takes H4, king to F7, queen to E1. And now if you play rook takes G2, this is the big advantage of moving the queen over, takes, because it can go to G3, and suddenly you realize that rook C7 check is possible, and the queen, these pieces are closing in much better into the position for white than it is for black. Black's attacking idea seems to simply have evaporated, and it's white for choice. So Carlsen, he's showing why this young phenom has broken the 2850, 2860, 2870 barrier, because he's playing chess from another world. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Maurice. And by the way, the variations that you were just showing us is the case in point where it's the black pawn on G2 that's the disadvantage in the position for black because of those moves like queen G3. And in fact, Gata has captured with the pawn, and the variation, just to repeat what Maurice showed, was that after rook c7 check, the most natural move in the position, give a check. In case the rook blocks the check, bishop takes f6. Now, the rook on c7 can't be captured because the bishop attacks the queen in that case. So the bishop has to be captured. Queen h4 check. The king drops back, and this was a key moment. This is an easy move to miss, I must confess.
Oh, rook takes b7?
Rook takes b7.
Very cool.
That is a very nasty, nasty move.
Because it's a combination of a pin and just a very visual, but not a typical way to take advantage of a pin, right?
Exactly. It's like these two pins. First you have the absolute pin against the king, and then you have the relative pin against the queen, and white wins a pawn. For example, we're just going to make a move for black, not necessarily a good move, but just to demonstrate the possibility of white just transposing instantly into a king and pawn endgame, a pawn to the good, that pawn on G2.
And now we take our shield. We don't need it
And now
anymore.
And thanks to this pawn on the queen side, black would end up having to resign. So losing that b7 pawn could be the pivotal moment in the game that decides the game for Kamsky.
And it looks like we've got a lot of moves on Nakamura Aronian.
Oh, really? I should switch. Let me switch the board.
We've seen a whole bunch of trades, and I wonder if that's over soon. What's going on over there?
Let me bring up, I am sorry, let me bring up, where is my, oh, wow.
Whoa, wait a second.
What has just happened?
I thought we were going to see a bunch of trades that might lead to a drawish position, but that position after knight d7, what's going on?
Well,
it looks like the rook on f8 is...
Well, when we left the game, we left it at this point. Nakamura Hikaru just dropped back with his knight. Bishop takes, knight takes, queen takes. Levon capturing that pawn on a4. Knight captures c5, restoring material equality. And look at this, knight d7, a winner.
Oh, and look at Nakamura's face. Is that a happy face? I don't think so.
Oh, no, I think so.
He's looking good.
He's looking very good. Knight d7.
Oh,
Why?
D7. What is that face?
Why is this move
He's
such
leaning back on his chair.
Why is this so powerful? So in the first place, we're threatening to capture a rook, but that rook cannot move from the f8 square. If it goes to e8, there's this devastating knight fork. Knight checks, attacks the king, and attacks the rook. That would win on the spot.
But the rook has nowhere else to go.
And I think it's a winning move.
So just knight takes f8 is coming, and white is just up in exchange. I mean, black can't even get a pawn for this. Now, where did Levon go wrong that this sequence just, catapulted out of control? I mean, it seemed like it was a relatively simple sequence. Maurice, what happened here?
This is simply astonishing that the world #2 player would blunder at this kind of level in a position where he was perfectly fine. And we see this happen so often. You're in trouble for a little bit, you're struggling, you're trying to equalize, and then when you equalize, you start to think, okay, I have no problems here. Everything is fine, and then you relax. And when you relax, that's when you have the brain freeze and you blunder. And it was a very specific moment in this game when this happened. We saw the exchanges with bishop takes on d5. Let me just get back to this position for us. When he was so confident here that nothing was going to happen to him. Just go back one moment. So in this moment, he played bishop to d5, and then he just decided, oh, look at this, easy trades. Let me now get rid of this pawn. Sorry, let me push that back 1 second. Back one move. Let me get rid of that pawn, and now knight takes on c5, and it looked like, no big deal. Let's just trade queens. In fact, he had a much simpler move. Simply queen to c6 was easy. Queen c6 hitting the knight, and also this pawn on c3. So if knight takes pawn, simply queen takes. He covered the d7 square. There will be no issues whatsoever. Queen to c6 was a very simple, comfortable way to equalize the position. And he was, in fact, right. He was still equal. The move that he played, however, queen to b5, has resulted in this position. Sorry again. Let me just get back to this. Queen to b, after knight takes on c5, queen to b5, and then this is just dumb stuff. Queen takes, pawn takes, and knight d7, and you're losing in exchange. It's just one move. You're just losing in exchange. So a horrible, horrible blunder on Aronian's part. He's going to be kicking himself. He only has 6 games to play. To lose this game in this style has got to be totally embarrassing. He's going to die now. There's no question about it. Nakamura is going to figure out how to use this exchange and hammer him into the ground. So this is going to be a win for Nakamura, barring some other mysterious mistakes. It should just be an easy, fluid win for Nakamura. So a stunning start to the Sinquefield Cup here on this very first round. Back to you guys.
I mean, I don't know what to say about this.